Hi friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting a reading vlog of an author taste test for this author, Kiersten Modglin. I'm not sure how to say the author's last name. I need to look it up. A lot of people have been talking about that they were saying it one way and now they're saying it a different way. Anyway, I'm going to be reading both of these. This has been on my shelf since 2020, maybe 2019, but I think 2020. The author actually sent this to me. Signed it and everything. There we go. The author actually sent this to me, signed it and everything, so that's super special. And then I also picked up this one because some of my friends have read it and raved about it, specifically Jessie from Reading with Jess. But I also know that Jordan read it, and I know a few other people that have read and enjoyed this one. So I'm going to be doing an author taste test. Jessie wants me to do an author taste test, and I was like, I'm kind of not in the mood. I just want to read them, but I figured let me vlog it just to see how awesome these books are. I know I'm probably really going to like this one, but I'm going to start with this one since it published first. And I don't know too much about them except for her books are usually twisty. They're very, very short, and that's all I really know. So let's start with The Liar's Wife. Alright you guys, I wanted to give you an update on The Liar's Wife. I made it to page 114. I've had a very long day. I haven't had much time to read or update you guys, but I'm probably going to just sit down and finish the rest of the book. So this is like the midway check-in. So it starts off with a prologue. Not sure why, but it's like coming alive from the grave. And the last line that she says is, "How I let her ruin my life." So I think it's like another woman that has ruined another woman's life. Then we go into chapter 1 and we're following Palmer as she is being released from the hospital with her new baby. Her and her husband, they've been married for about 6 months and they're married now. They're going home, and then a 2-week time jump happens where Palmer is going back to work. The dad is going to be the stay-at-home dad and take care of baby Gray. Because her job pays more money. She really likes her job. It has really good like insurance and stuff like that, and his was like the opposite. Didn't make enough money, didn't really like his job, didn't have insurance, so it just made more sense for her to go back to work and for him to stay home. She could have and should have probably taken more maternity leave, but she was ready to get back to work, sort of kind of basically for financial reasons, it sounded like. So anyway, she was in a previous relationship where she has been cheated on, and she's very hesitant about Ben, and she starts getting these red flags that maybe he is cheating on her. And she doesn't feel great about leaving her son behind with him, but she knows that's what she has to do. But then when she gets home the first night, she kind of like, they're not there. He says they were out at the park. She noticed this bag in the stroller and it's like, oh, what's that? He's like, oh, you know, my buddy stopped by and gave me this. And she's like, well, then why did you take it when you went out if you dropped it off? And then she notices she's washing his clothes, and she notices a receipt at this like lunch place, and there's 2 meals on there instead of 1. So she confronts about it and asks him about it, and he goes, oh, I noticed someone else not being able to get 2 meals. I like did a pay it forward thing. And it's just, she's believing him, but at the same time not. Kind of like, you know, she kind of learned from her last relationship like what red flags to look for. So she's just kind of on edge. And then with everything adding up, the next day she decides to call into work and say, hey, I'm not going to be in right away. I may be a little late. And she waits like, I guess like down the street a little bit from her apartment, and sees that Ben takes Gray and they go off somewhere. So she follows him. They go back to that same restaurant and he meets a woman there, and they embrace, they kiss, they have lunch together. And then when she asks him about it later on, of course he doesn't mention it. So she ends up following the lady back to her house. I don't know, it's just crazy, because like she's even trying to like catch him in his lies, like, oh, well, just send me a picture of you guys because I miss you guys so much. And he's like, oh, well, I'm about to jump in the shower, I'll do that afterwards. And then he like shows up at her job later. Anyway, just a lot of red flags. Well, one of her really good friends, her husband is an attorney, and so she gets some advice from him like, hey, what should I do? And he's like, well, most of the time all assets will be divided evenly unless there was like a prenup, or if they can prove that, you know, the spouse was cheating. So she knows he's cheating now, and she's trying to get evidence of that. She ends up following them back to the woman's house where something really crazy happens, and she's trying to get evidence, but she tries to beat him back to the house, but he doesn't show up. Gray is not there, and now Ben, Gray, this woman are nowhere to be found, and what's gonna happen. So that's basically the halfway point. I'm really enjoying it. It's very fast paced. It's easy to understand. This is great for a beginner, great for a veteran. Like I said, fast paced, short read. Highly recommend already, but I will go ahead and finish up the rest, and then I will update you when I am finished. Oh my gosh, you guys, I just finished reading The Liar's Wife. I'm rating this story 5 out of 5 stars. I honestly read this so quickly. It's so bingeable. It's under 250 pages. You just want to know, so you will keep turning those pages to find out all of the secrets that this little book holds. I am just so impressed of the easy writing, the fast paced, the characters, the plot. There was no lulls. It was just like pedal to the metal from the very beginning, and I absolutely loved that. This is exactly the type of book that I like. Highly recommend you pick this up. Like I said, I'm rating it 5 out of 5 stars, and that just makes me so excited to go into the arrangement now. I'm here with my kind of sort of almost halfway point check-in. I'm about to head out and run some errands for the day, so I thought I would go ahead and just stop here, give you my thoughts, and then finish it up and let you know what I think at the end. I am on page 107, chapter 15. If you don't know what this book is about, it is about a happily married husband and wife, well, almost happily married. The spark in their marriage has kind of fizzled out over the years that they have been married. They have 3 older kids. They both have careers, and just kind of like that spark, that lust, that passion has faded. And in order to revitalize that part of their marriage, they have agreed the arrangement, they have made an arrangement to see other people. It's kind of like, do whatever you want. I don't want to hear about any of it. You can only do it on this day. You can only do it on this day. And the story takes off from there. So you have Peter and Elise, and Peter and Annalise, and they're pushing the boundaries of deception, suspicion, and temptation. And Peter doesn't seem to be too on board with it, but he's kind of like going along with it for Annalise's, you know, sanity. And she has Tuesdays, he has Thursdays, and they're going to be telling their kids that they're working late on those days. So they both create profiles on a dating app. They match with people, they go out on dates. So far we have had Annalise go out on her date, we have had Peter go out on his date. And what I love about her writing in the other book that I read and in this book I read is that there are many surprises along the way. I won't say twists per se, but something I wasn't expecting, you know, because her stories seem very like on face value, like you think you know what's going to happen. Like, what is she going to do to mix it in and make it different from all of the other books that sound like that? So she definitely has those little twists and turns and surprises along the way, which I appreciate. I just made it to chapter 15. It is told in dual POV, so you do get to see Peter's side of things, you do get to see Annalise's side of things, and there's already been like 2 things that I was kind of shocked by. One a little bit earlier on, and then something kind of really bad happened about this mark. So I'm kind of like, okay, where is the story gonna go from here? But like I said, I've headed out. I think the less you know going in this, the better. I think basically what you need to know is it starts off with an arrangement between a husband and a wife that they agree to see other people 1 day a week. They're not allowed to ask any questions and things like that. And of course, they both seem a little bit, Ainsley less so, but Peter is definitely like hesitant going into this agreement, but he's doing it for the sake of his wife. Anyway, that's the update for the arrangement by Kiersten Modglin. And yeah, I'm excited to continue when I get home later today. All right, I'm back, friends. As you can see, it's a little bit later. My house is a mess. I really need to clean the house sometime this weekend, but I'm here to talk about the arrangement by Kiersten Modglin. I loved this. It was so twisty and so turny, as I was saying before. I will say that I thought that The Liar's Wife was a little bit more fast-paced, but both of these are really short, so they are both fast-paced. It's just in this one, I feel like it's maybe more high stakes because someone goes missing. In this one, you're following a husband and a wife, Ainsley and Peter, and they love each other, but the spark is kind of gone out of their marriage with their careers and their children and just daily life. So they decide to make an arrangement where they can each see other people, but only 1 day a week. So Ainsley can go out on dates with other guys on Tuesdays, and Peter can go out on dates with other women on Thursdays. They're not allowed to ask any questions about the other person's date, the person that they went on a date with. Of course, they're not trying to like form a connection with this person. It's purely someone to spend time with, hang out with, make out with, have sex with, whatever they want to do, but they're supposed to keep it to their individual days because they do have kids and they do want to, they're doing this to make their marriage better. That's the end result that they're looking for. Anyway, there is this quote I wanted to share with you. It comes pretty late into the book, but I just think it speaks to like the whole book itself. And it says, if we can love each other through all of the darkness, we'll be able to survive anything. And I think that's a lot about what this book is about. It's about like, to me, I've only read one other book with the trope where there's an arrangement that each other can see other people. What was that book called? I pushed it out of my memory because it was so bad. I've only read one other book about like a husband and wife making an arrangement to like see other people. That concept to me is absolutely crazy. I could personally never do that because I'm a very jealous person. But anyway, they decide to do this, and of course, what could possibly go wrong? Everything. Peter was kind of not wanting to do it anyway, but they both did, and it's only like 1 week into their arrangement and shit just hits the fan and it just snowballs, and then it's like a runaway train that just, you can't even catch your breath. They can't even catch their breath. One thing goes wrong after another, and you're just wondering like where in the heck that this is going to end up. There's a lot of time when like certain things happen that the characters are figuring out like how to handle a situation and things like that. So that's why I said it is not that it's slow paced, but it's just not as fast paced because they're dealing with like one thing, figuring it out, dealing with another thing, figuring it out. And so during that time of figuring it out, nothing new is really happening. They're just figuring it out. And it's only 222 pages, where in this one, you have a woman searching for her husband and her child. So she's constantly doing something, researching something, going somewhere, things like that. But both of these got 5 out of 5 stars for me. I would highly recommend both of them. They're very, very interesting, very, very quick reads, and I am so excited to read something else by this author. They do have a list in the back of like a bunch of their books. If you go to the author's website, they actually have a list of all their books in like this printable graphic that has all of the standalones, all of the series, all of that. So she definitely has a lot of books. And so I just want to kind of look through all of them and see which one I'm immediately drawn to. I'm kind of in for the Dinner Guests. That's like one of the newer ones. It has a plate on the cover, it has a crack, and it's like 6 guests go to like a dinner party and there's like a game and something goes wrong or something like that. I didn't do too much research, but suffice to say, absolutely loved these. These are my only 5 stars of the whole month, you guys. So that should tell you something. If I had to pick one over the other, I would pick this one, surprisingly, because I haven't heard anybody talk about this one. Heard a lot of people talk about this one, and I've seen it get everything from like 2 stars to 5 stars, so you know, it just depends. But yeah, that's it for this author taste test. I would highly recommend you check out something by this author. I will leave her author website down below, as well as links to both of these books. But yeah, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're having a lovely day or night, and I'll see you guys again in another video very soon. Bye guys.